Hey guys, welcome back. I finally wanted to make my video on housing because it is such a hot topic at Penn State. And being a new student, like I was last year, I had no idea what housing to choose, what was the best option for me. So I wanted to make this video to kind of break down everything I've learned after this past year. I've had friends in about every single different housing area, and I've heard all their experiences, so I'm just gonna kind of share some of those, pop some pictures in, and hopefully it helps. If you've already picked housing, you might be watching this video to see what your dorm might look like. So I'm just gonna give advice about everything. And I think I'm gonna start with East Halls, just because I feel like that's the one everyone knows and hears of first before they even come to Penn State. Because East Halls right now is the only place with renovated dorms on campus. So East Halls is right near the stadium actually, which is a huge plus. And then about half the buildings are renovated, and they have like air conditioning, they have kitchens, study lounges, and then the other half is unrenovated, which looks a lot like the other dorms on campus. So we'll do renovated first since that's the biggest. Everyone wants renovated. The good part about East is there are all freshmen there. So it's a great way to be kind of all in the same area and make a lot of friends there, just because you're all in the same situation. But I will say I've definitely heard the biggest complaint is it's just kind of a far walk from everything. But it looks like your standard college dorm room. I'm sure if you've did other college tours, it looks very similar to the others. Just has the two beds. In the middle, there's a fridge. You each have a desk, and then behind the desks, you can't really see in the picture, but you each have a little closet. And it doesn't have a ton of room, but not many in college do, so you just work with what you have. The great part about East is, like I mentioned, I'll pop the pictures in here. There's also a big kitchen downstairs, so you can cook food. A lot of people make cookies together. Study lounges, and they also have bathrooms with separate doors because they are co-ed dorms, so there are girls and boys living on the same floor. So they have about 6 bathrooms on each floor, but they're in pods. So you like walk in and you have your own sink, toilet, and shower, which is super nice. So it's not like communal where you have to like share and be in there with a bunch of people at the same time. And I'll put a picture of unrenovated East up here. Same location, same deal with you're still in the East area. Unfortunately, they are just unrenovated dorms, so there's no air conditioning. So it does tend to get a little hot when we go back to school. And as you can see, the desks are kind of like an L shape, so it looks pretty similar to the renovated East dorms. It just has like a bigger desk that kind of takes up a little more room, and then the closet behind as well. All right, now I'm gonna move to South and Pollock. So South is half renovated, which they hold a lot of sorority floors, which I'll pop in a picture there. Those are renovated as well. Lots of room there. I've been in one of my friends before, but you're not really gonna get that as a freshman. That's more of like a sophomore and up with renovated South dorms. But I did have friends in unrenovated South dorms. They look just like the West dorms, which I'll show a little later. Lots of room in there, but they are same deal, no air conditioning, but they do have some study rooms in there as well. And then Pollock is where I lived last year. Pretty much known as the worst spot to live on campus, but I'm a total advocate for Pollock. I loved it so much. I made great friends, and it truly wasn't bad. Here is a picture of what it would look like when you walk into it before it's decorated. So me and my roommate were kind of freaking out a little bit, as you can tell. They look really, really small. I mean, there's not a ton of room to move around, but here's another picture with kind of what it looks like furnished. You're also, feel free to look at my Pollock dorm tour video. It'll probably give you more of like a modern picture of what the dorm would look like, but as long as you decorate it pretty cute, it wasn't a problem at all. We just had a lot of fans, and we did have a huge closet, so I actually brought back more clothes because I didn't think I'd be able to fit that many, and I could fit more than I thought. And we had a huge desk, so we were actually able to put a TV in the middle, and we definitely made it work, but it was great. I will say from my personal experience in Pollock, bathroom situation, not great, but at the end of the day, you're not in your dorm a ton. I mean, you're basically there, shower quick, brush your teeth, wash your face, and sleep. So honestly, it's just where you're living and you will be fine. I wanted to touch on North Halls real quick. I knew 2 freshmen who were put there. I don't know if they requested it or not, but I do know North is, for the most part, sophomores and up, kind of in that suite type living. So I honestly don't know if freshmen can recommend that or get that. But I also know it's a lot of older kids living there, so being a freshman, you kind of want to be with other freshmen. So I definitely, that wouldn't be my first to recommend. And the last dorm is West Dorms, all the way opposite side of campus as East, and that's closer to the IST building, and a lot of like the engineering buildings and the library. So West Halls are actually my favorite of all of them that I've seen. Honestly, the first time I walked in one, I couldn't believe like how big it was. They're so roomy, and it all matters the way you move the beds around, but the pictures up here do show what 2 different configurations would kind of look like. But I know a lot of people kind of put the beds on the far ends, desks in the middle, so you just have this huge area in the middle. You have a pretty big closet, you each have half of it, and then a ton of drawers on each side to store clothes. So definitely roomy. And then the area actually looks very different from the rest of campus. The architecture is just super pretty, great area to be in. It's definitely known as more of a quiet area of campus to live, but I had a lot of friends who lived there. I enjoyed visiting them, and it was just a fun place to be in. So if you get stuck with West and you're kind of iffy about it, I would consider you lucky, because I honestly loved it there. So I think real quick before I wrap up this video, I'm gonna kind of rank what my opinions are, where I would go for housing. And if you have more questions, please put them below and I will answer them. But these are just kind of my personal opinions and why. So I'm gonna say Pollock and South and West are kind of all tied for the top first place, just because they're all pretty close to the downtown area. They're close to all the classroom buildings on campus, so you don't have to do more walking than you have to. You're kind of in the best location you can be. The only downside with West is you're definitely a far walk from the stadium. From Pollock, it took me about 20 minutes to walk there. West is definitely a good half hour. But football games are also just in the first semester, and you walk with your friends, so it was never an issue for me being farther away. And then next, I would put East Halls. I know East Renovated is what every single person wants. It's what I put down on my sheet for where I wanted to live. But as the year kind of went on, I was grateful that I got put in Pollock instead. I think East is definitely great because it's all freshmen. And obviously if you get a renovated dorm, that's awesome because you have air conditioning. But at the end of the day, it adds on an extra 5-10 minute walk to all your classes. So I know that was a big complaint for a lot of people, but you are super close to the stadium. So if you get to East and that's where you end up, no big deal there. I'm sure you'll love it, but it's just kind of a farther walk from everything. And at the bottom, I'm just gonna put North because, like I said, I just don't know that many freshmen who have lived there, and it's primarily older students. So I think just for freshman year, it's better to be surrounded by other freshmen. So I hope this video quickly summed up Penn State housing for the most part. I just want to say in here that wherever you get put, you truly aren't in your dorm room that much. You're always out and about. There are places all over campus to do schoolwork with friends. Weekends you're out, and whether it's a sporting event or a party. So in the end, you're kind of just in your dorm room to sleep, maybe do a little homework. So it's more about the people you meet along the way, not where you're living. And it's just for 1 year. So if you end up not liking where you live, anyone can do anything for a year, and I can assure you it'll be okay. That's all I have for this video. Subscribe and like if this was helpful, and then I'm gonna have a new video out soon. But please, any comments, questions, feel free to type them below and I will respond. I'll see you next time. Bye guys.